So, hello there. So this is going to be a very short video, and it's about it's just something stupid that I thought was funny, so I kind of wanted to share that. So, let me just see. I just had this. No, not patch notes. I'm not playing LOL enough to understand the layout of any menu at this point. So I've not really played LOL too much the last few months actually, but like I get a game every now and then, a few games, lately a few more, like not that much still. Like you can see, I had like a session with a friend here with like 4 games or something, or 3 games. I think it was 3 games, and then like just like 1 or 2 games a day, if at all. So then this game happened, and you can see like the game went fairly well. Zareth being my main character definitely helps out. Like he has been my main character for a very long time. So let's just go into this replay. So the point I'm trying to make, and I mean, you can very clearly see that already in the title, right? You see what this is about, I assume. Let me just real quick move this over here. Okay, so you see what this is about. So this is about a topic that is very dear to me, and there are a lot of mixed opinions, and it's kind of controversial at times, but I do believe in competitive gaming, might it be League of Legends or whatever. It's trash talk, and BMing is part of the game, to a degree. It doesn't have to be part of the game, but you can make it a part of the game if you use it correctly. And while this is just starting to play, I'm just gonna let's just speed that up a bit. Also, let's check something. I believe it should be like, okay, so yeah, this is my first death. I died before I killed. I just want to see where I have to go. Okay, so yeah, here is Timo's first death, and it's specifically his second death, which should be here. Okay, so we stopped somewhere around here, right? So while you see this happening there right now on the screen, let me just real quick turn down the master volume a bit. Okay. So I believe that trash talking is a valid part of the game, and I'm not saying that you have to like be disrespectful. I'm not talking about like getting like the laughs out of it, being disrespectful, being an asshole. That's not what it's about. It's part of a psychological play style, basically. Not play style. It's part of a psychological component of the game. Basically, you trash talk your enemy, you provoke them so that they might do more mistakes. So this game overall went pretty well. Our top lane won pretty much. Our bot lane won. I don't know how much our bot lane won immediately, but like our Pantheon was kind of camping top lane this game. Okay, yeah, and well, it went pretty well. I was kind of rusty still, so I didn't really hit my pokes as well in laning phase, but I outfarmed. I died one time, but that was fine. I did not really, like, it was like one early gang by Shaco. So here, Timo killed my Pantheon, but like my Pantheon also killed Timo, so I just shoved a wave and stuff. So, and now somewhere around here it should happen, right? Okay, right now there's a roam before, so let's just speed it up again. So I go roam bot lane, and I get some kills again. And now we have this situation. Let's put the camera on me at this point. Where am I? I'm here. Okay. So as I said, trash talking, part of like the strategy. Okay, so what happens here now? I land this. He gets a little bit lower. So now I'm kind of trying to push the advantage because I know I'm pretty strong at this point. I got some kills. I have some stacks on my Dark Seal. And that's why a second. Can I somehow turn on the chat? Can I turn on the chat is the question. Can I see what's been typed in the game? I don't think so. I don't think I have that option. So anyways, I'm gonna just tell you what happened. Okay, so menu camera. So I land slow here, I chase it down to a degree, I land another stun here, and I go in for another Q. Don't land it. Doesn't matter too much. I just run him down at this point to a degree, land another of these ones, and land this one. So he's very low now. So what I now do is, I'm now, while I auto-tag this minion there, I just typed in all chat. And I told him to go base. And you see he is recalling at this point. So now I told him to go base. And let's see what he happens when I confront him with me ordering him to go base. So I clear the wave and go backwards to a degree. So I walk back here where he can't see me, right? And he walks back to get the wave. So why did he walk back here? Would you walk back in this situation? I mean, my ult is on cooldown. It's pretty soon-ish, so he might not be aware of that. But like, maybe he counted the second. I don't know. Maybe he has the cooldown like in his mind, but probably not. So I could have ult at this point. So obviously this is stupid. You don't go there and like to kill like one wave, right? And so what I have up, I might not have ult up, but I do have up my Q and flash. Flash Q is, by the way, a pretty good strategy with Xerath, where you can, if you have a max charge Q, you can from out of the vision of the enemy flash and instantly get a Q off, and it's really hard to react to that. So, and there we go, it's the kill, right? I mean, that's just it. That's just the whole point of the whole thing. From there on, I just completely snowballed out of control. I can just show you real quick what happens when he comes back to lane, right? So there he is. So I now ult someone in the river, so I have more stacks again. Yeah, I hit another Q. I think like, oh, he comes back here. I missed that one, but I land this, and yeah, he's done at this point. Like, he again didn't want to go back because like maybe he just like was like, I can't go back because like he had nothing at this point since he died. So it's like going back, he can't buy stuff. I know that feels bad. Probably his ego is still kind of hurt at this point. Even though I feel like he kind of took it back at that point, but now at this point I'm very dominant in lane, and it basically started with me baiting him to get killed there. I was a little bit stronger because I got off a good roam and I played it pretty safe and started to, and I pretty much outfarmed the whole game. But that was like the moment where it all kind of started to crumble really, really hard. And I don't mean that to like disrespect or like telling that this guy is trash or anything. He just like let his emotions get to him, and by doing that, he completely sealed the deal on his lane. Is not able to contest for the rest of the game. So how the rest of the game goes, real quickly, is I start to dominate really, really hard, and I get like almost a full Major Soul Stealer stack, and well, I'm like I'm dealing a lot of damage, like 1 Q. Or it takes like 80% of their ADC and like 80% of the support, and Timo also dies extremely fast from being hit by any abilities of mine. Basically can one-shot anyone but the enemy on it at some point in the game if I land an E. So yeah, this whole thing kind of started like, yeah, my lane was going well, but it went really downhill and really snowbally. Mostly, like, this is definitely a key moment because that was my first kill actually. That I just did in the game, and the only reason I could do that was because I baited him into doing something stupid by trash talking him. He let his emotions get to him, and that was exactly my goal. Like, when you go back here for a second, so okay, I didn't go back far enough, so let's go here. So yeah, he's down here. And this is not just that I just trash talk and then, oh, this guy's stupid, so I killed him. It's not that. This was calculated. So I went here Now I start to auto attack, and I think at oh no wait, he's already dead at this point. I'm stupid, right? This is the second death. This is the second death. I'm at the wrong kill. I'm dumb. So we're over here, right? So what happens here is I land this W and now a Q here. He's as good as dead. And now, while I do these auto attacks on this minion, I type go base while he prepares to go base. And now I absolutely expected him to really go base. If I did not expect him to go base, what I would have done is I would have pushed the wave and tried to take turret platings at this point. But I totally expected him to like get kind of like an ego thing going and want to refuse my order to go back into base. So what I did was I went back here, and at this point I was like, okay, if he's gonna go back to clear this wave now, which I kinda assume he's gonna do, I'm just gonna Q flash him from out of sight, and he will not have time to react to it, and he will die, because one Q is at this point definitely enough to kill him, right? So I just stand here and wait for him to go in range, and then once, wait, I'm just gonna go back here for a second, that you can see how disgustingly calculated the situation is, right? It's put in the fog of war. We have the red team fog of war, right? We can't see him at this point. I type go base. Now let's walk this in slow. Let's watch this in slow motion. I stand here. I know that he has no wards there, so if we change the fog of war at this point, he can't see here. He has a mushroom here, but like I'm standing here, right? Now we go back to the red fog of war. And I'll see how basically the second he comes into vision, I start to move. I was waiting for that. So this is not just him being stupid, it's not just an accident that happened because I was trash talking. I legitimately planned this out. I trash talked him so he won't go back and take this wave. And yes, I know. This is not the only play that made the game. I also was lucky with a good top lane. I was lucky with a good bot lane, even though, as I said, top lane was perma-ganked by Pantheon, so hard time for the enemy top laner there. And I was kind of roaming bot a lot and kind of pressuring them. But I feel like my laners did a fairly great job, and my jungler as well. So, yeah, definitely other factors why I won the game. But that was the moment the domination in mid lane started, which was pretty devastating. And in the end, basically the way we won the game was the enemies were just at some point super tunnel visioning on me, but every time they actually got me and killed me, they lost Jhin and Shaco being the only one who got feed, and Jhin being the only carry who got some money, because Teemo was kind of out of the game. Made it not worth, because I had other strong teammates that would clean up, and sometimes they wouldn't even get me. They would just try to go in and they lose Shaco and or Jhin, and I would just get away. And yeah, that's then the end of the story, and my team comes and swaps them, right? Because they lose their valuable team members, but only trying to get me out, but like I have more than one valuable team member. That was kind of what happened in the game. I'm kind of going off it again, but well, the point that I want to make is this was legitimately a planned out strategy. I did not mean to disrespect him, to hurt someone's feelings. I do not mean to like imply that he's a bad player or something. Also, want to mention this is not a ranked game. I'm not playing enough League of Legends right now to play ranked games, but situations like that happen also in ranked games, and if you really can utilize that, and you can utilize just like being a little bit of a provocative asshole every now and then, for the sake of baiting your opponent to do something dumb, and capitalize on that, that's very valuable. I think it's less valuable than higher elos, but like even then, I think they are, like even in high elo, they are like very emotional players, right? They must be. The more emotional a player is, the more susceptible he is to trash talking and provoking like that. And sometimes you really can just make people do dumb stuff, make people throw away games, not only in normal games, also in ranked games, And like I've never been like a high elo player. I usually hover somewhere, like I'm usually somewhere in gold, or like if I play more, I'm usually higher gold. But yeah, I think this is definitely something people should take in mind, and I'm just like annoyed by the whole idea that people have that like trash talking is just like, no, that's just being mean and it's an asshole move, and like, no, you shouldn't do that. That's not part of the game. It is part of a competitive game. It's not only in not only in League of Legends though. There are other games as well. Trash talking, BMing is a psychological strategy that, if used correctly, can bait opponents to do dumb things, and you definitely can use that to your advantage. You can intentionally bait them and trash talk them so that they will do something dumb, and you can capitalize on that. It's a little bit like a conditioning thing, where you do something again and again so that your enemy gets the idea that you will do this now again, and then they try to do the counter thing, and then you do whatever counters the counter thing. You know what I'm getting at. It's a part of the psychological warfare that happens in competitive gaming, and not only in competitive gaming, in competitive sports as well. Just watch, I don't know, basically any sport where people compete with one another. Say like a good example is definitely MMA. There are MMA players who try to be very disrespectful. I forgot his name. I think it's Silver something. It's like this really prestigious MMA fighter who's known for being extremely disrespectful, having like stance where he like has no defense and like just holds up his chin for the enemy to hit, and then like he basically baits them to overstep, and then has incredibly brutal counter blows that he gets in that way. But the same thing is like it can backfire pretty hard. Stuff like that can backfire pretty hard. It can also be by gameplay. You don't have to be by talking in chat, but like as we have the chat, it's an option that we have there, and yes, people can disable it, and then they're immediately immune to it, right? So the message I just want to give everyone is don't assume someone who trash talks a bit means it bad. Some people just try to utilize psychological strategy there, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's one of the tools given to us. Second of all, feel free to try it yourself. Try it yourself. Make sure that trash talking doesn't resolve to just like hurting someone's feelings, and if like there's no point in that, right? And if you're definitely dominating someone, there's no reason to like trash talk them because they are so bad. I think the moment where, like the situation where trash talk is appropriate is when there's a relatively even game and you use that to pressure your enemy psychologically so they do things that they shouldn't do, so that you can take the lead, or that you can expand a small lead into a bigger lead, right? That's, I think, the situation where it's appropriate. Like the trash talking someone that you're already stomping in lane is like not really doing anything. What I sometimes do when I stomp my lane is, especially as top laner, I like to do that. I start to trash talk the enemy jungler so that the jungler will come top a lot when I feel, for example, confident that I can kill both jungler and the laner. Or sometimes I just trash talk them to come top a lot when I play very tanky top laners that have sometimes escapes and stuff like that, where I'm confident that I can survive a gank, and I just try to waste their time on top lane. That's literally also a very legit strategy. Like the best way to do it, like in a way that they actually fall for it, is you get ganked and you get killed, and then you're just in all chat, come again, try it again, I dare you to come top lane again, and then they will be like, oh, I'm gonna tilt this guy, because like you display ego. People that have a lot of ego and start to talk in all chat, usually people that get really fragile and really dumb and do dumb things once they are provoked, and tilt easily. But like I don't tilt easily. And I literally just do that so they will come top again, and then I just waste their time. Also, maybe I'm confident in killing them. Maybe when I'm playing Darius and I'm ahead, I'm kind of confident that I'm able to kill a Lee Sin that's kind of strong right now, but like I completely shit on my laner, so I can take both of them. I'm confident, right? Or as a fat Aatrox or something like that. But sometimes just play Cyan and they just literally just waste their time there, and like. With Cyan, you can get away with a lot of nonsense because he's so tanky and has the shield and stuff, right? So, or you can bait people to tower dive you, which most of the time is not a good idea, but yeah. So yeah, feel totally free to use it, but like try to be reasonable in when you use it. Don't use it to push your own ego. That makes yourself pretty vulnerable, actually, because if it then starts to backfire, yeah, that can shatter your own ego pretty hard. I'd say like keep your ego out of the game for the most part. That makes you A, not as vulnerable to trash talk yourself, and B, when your own trash talk backfires, you can just take it with a grain of salt and keep playing your game, right? Playing consistent is the most important thing. And if you know that you're an emotional player and you're susceptible for trash talk and stuff like that, mute the chat. if you can't handle it, mute the chat. This Timo, I don't know if this is that what happened here is like a regular occurrence for him. I don't know how susceptible he generally is to trash talk. This is a pretty mean trash talk. I'm gonna tell you. This is one that this is basically my favorite formula of trash talk. As specifically Xerath in the mid lane, I think it kind of works with every champion, but especially good with like poke champions, where you hit your enemy low, and when they go back because they want to go base, you just tell them to go base. And basically at this point, this is a psychological lose-lose situation for them. If they are susceptible at all to trash talk, this is gonna get to them a little bit in one way or another, because they have two options. They can stop the backport and try to refuse giving in, and then I kill them, and then I tell them that I told them. Why aren't they listening to me? And this is degrading them more. This is putting more pressure on them. They are probably ashamed. Their ego is hurt. And also, I got a kill so I can push an advantage or like get a lead or something, right? But when they refuse to go back and they resist the urge to go back, right? And actually port back, I'm just gonna finish it up with like calling them a good boy or a good girl, and that actually, like, if you're not susceptible at all to trash talk, then obviously this is not gonna do anything. But a lot of times people start to be way more aggressive after that, and also keep doing more mistakes because they feel so humiliated by getting an order from the enemy and actually obeying it, which is the right call. And that's the danger here. And that's like my personal favorite formula of trash talk. I tell my opponents what they have to do next, and I mean it. I'm telling them really what they should do. And yeah, if they obey, like nothing really happens, but I compliment them for obeying my orders, and then they are humiliated. And if they don't, they usually die for it, or like give up other objective for it, something like that, right? So yeah, this is just one example that just happened right now, and it was so comical to me how, like, I literally was waiting in the fog of war and was waiting for him to come back, and now in the replay I even saw that he was recalling, which is, again, this is funny as hell to me. There's another clip where I go on a similar rant on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/smexiflexi_ganzuru, and there's a clip where I have a similar situation where at the end of a streaming session I go back into a replay of a game that I played that evening where I did a similar thing. I think basically the exact same thing. I told my enemy Zed to go base after I poked him low, and then I in the match called that he was probably recalling right now. He was recalling right now, and then he came back and I killed him. And I was checking the footage and I saw I saw that I was right. He was recalling when I typed it, and then he decided to disobey my order because it hurts his ego. And I mean, Z players, right? Am I right? Like, Z players gonna have an ego, right? Most of them, at least. I don't think that all Z players necessarily have an ego, but let's be honest, most assassin mains in mid lane, especially the ones that play a little bit more mechanical, advanced and champions, right? They like to have an ego about the champion they are playing and about how hard those champions are, and they are definitely, like, they have an ego. These people very susceptible for trash talk. Yeah. Final words. Don't. I think even if you don't like it, accept that trash talk is part of competitive gaming and competitive sports and can be utilized. If you don't like it, just try to grow thick skin and be above it. In League of Legends specifically, just mute the chat. If you're susceptible for trash talk and that provokes you to make mistakes, and you can see that, you can realize that on your own. Like you can, what is the word? If you can get self-conscious about it and you realize, okay, I have an ego, I am susceptible for trash talk, I do mistakes and start to play more aggressive, people trash talk me. Maybe like just look at your own gameplay, and if that's something that happens every now and then, mute the chat. If you don't like trash talk as the strategy in general, I don't know, feel free to mute the chat as well. If you're not susceptible and you like the communication, yeah, keep the chat on, but ignore the trash talk, right? But if you can make your peace with it, like I do, use it to your advantage. Like, use every tool you got. Everything that might win you a game, just take it and do it, right? Pick OP champions, one-trick OP champions if you can. Abuse the strongest builds available to you. And sometimes trash talk. I think it's the most logical conclusion here. I think the most logical conclusion is to learn how to deal with trash talk, and if you feel unable to do it, avoid it. Avoid it at all costs. Don't if you are not really in that, you can't really use it to your advantage. You should not react or to trash talk at all, and you shouldn't like dish it out, I guess. But yeah, if that's something you could get your mind into, like the psychological game that's behind it, then give it a shot. And I have to say, I have experienced situations where I trash talk people, which resulted in me winning lanes, and I had after that situation, I talked to these people, and they were fine with it. They were not mad about it. They definitely could see where I was coming from. They were like, yeah, you're kind of right, I kind of threw the game in that situation. And like, I had this one guy who after that match joined my stream, was talking to me in the stream and was like, oh, you bullied me, blah blah, and I was like, listen, this was nothing personal, I don't like think you're a bad player or anything. I literally trash talked you so you won't do more mistakes, and the results speak for themselves. I told you to go base, you didn't go base, I killed you. I trash talked your jungler to help you out, so your jungler came, but I knew I could one-shot the jungler. Things like that happen, right? And sometimes after games you can even have a good chat with like people. Like, I think the most effective thing you can do is like, when you trash talk and win, don't be a dick about it and be like GG easy or shit like that. That's like no one is like, no one benefits off of that. Like, especially if you really trash talked someone into being tilted as fuck and completely dominated them. Just hit them with the good game, well played at the end. And maybe if they're in the chat room after the game, just make sure that, like, I don't think you're a bad player, I just try to provoke you. And sometimes people will be very understanding. Obviously not everyone. Some people will be still mad no matter how nice you are afterwards and how much you make clear up this possible misunderstanding of you just kind of trying to be an asshole for the sake of being an asshole. But yeah, that's not always the case. For me, it's at least never the case, actually. I can be spiteful, to be honest. I can be spiteful, but that's mostly if people start to trash talk a lot and then they kind of fall on their nose with it. Then I kind of sometimes I can be spiteful and a little bit of a dick, definitely, yes. But that's also a different set of a different situation, I think. But yeah, I hope that someone who watched this might. I should have just played the video and you should have like seen the whole game, I guess. Now I played again, right? Where were we? Now the video's pretty long. I actually intended this video to be a little bit of a shorter game, but yeah. Now the it's slow as fuck. I'm gonna speed that up. Okay, so yeah, but I hope that like this might clear up some. That might clear up some things, because I think there are many people who don't understand that trash talking is or can be more than just being mean. And but at the same time, there are definitely people who are trash talking who are nothing but really mean with it. There are definitely people that start trash talking when they are completely stomping someone, and there's like no point in that in my opinion. So when I'm super ahead and I'm completely controlling a game from the get-go and I'm just being super fat and like destroying my laner, I'm not gonna trash talk them. I'm not gonna trash talk my laner for that. There's no point in I don't need to provoke someone to make mistakes that's already making mistakes that I'm already beating up, right? So in that case, it's really just being mean. But yeah, oh man, I said that enough now. So let's make this the last one. Trash talk is a legit part of the game. It's a legit strategy. You can utilize it. I think if you want to have the biggest success in the game, you kind of have to make your peace with it being a part of the game, because it definitely is. Like there's nothing around it. It's a part of the game. You can use it. You can utilize it. You can calculate it. You can plan with it. You can resist it. It's a part of the. It's a skill set. Being able to identify people who are susceptible for it. Being able to pull it off in a manner that's not too obvious. Yeah, all these things is like. It's a skill set. It's a skill set, and if you're not able to use it to your advantage, make sure it's not going to be used against you. It's part of the game. Accept that reality and play around it or play with it. Yeah, that's it. I hope this video was insightful. I hope the little clip I had was as funny to anyone else than it was to me. It was just I just thought it was hilarious. I just knowing that the moment I typed in go base and then like sitting in the fog of war and waiting for the team to walk up again and just getting sniped there. Comedic value. That had a lot of comedic value in my opinion. And I am 100% convinced that situation did only occur because of the trash talk. There's no way around it. This team would have never walked back in lane and started to farm with like 10 HP or whatever he had if I hadn't trash talked him. Keep in mind, my ult was on cooldown, yes, but it was only a quarter of the cooldown at that point. That's not a lot. I really highly doubt that he was just confident that I don't have ult up at that point because he saw me ult earlier and like marked the moment or something. Ults don't have that much cooldown. If it's only a quarter again, most people aren't that sure about if they have ult or not, right? Especially like I don't even know if he. Yeah, he probably noticed that I ulted because I ulted him, but still, it was almost up again. So, yeah, definitely a kill that I only got because of the trash talk. Let this be a lesson for you, and yeah, have a nice day and have some nice games, and maybe you can use trash talk for yourself and make it work. Good night!